Well, welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen, talking about how to ignite humanity. That's right. This show is all about ways that each and every one of us can ignite humanity in our own unique and special way. And what I love to do is introduce you to fantastic people on the planet who are igniting humanity in their own unique way. And it isn't always big and bold and boisterous. Often it is those small, little incremental things that we can do to ignite our lives first, so that we can ignite the lives of others. It really is truly a ripple effect. And when you impact your life, well, you have the ability to impact others in a positive and beneficial way. Today is Friday, so the theme of the day is really about connections. How do we build connections, create connections, foster connections? How do we have a more connected life, not just to the things outside of us, but inside of us? How can we be connected in a way that makes us feel empowered? And we've got a great guest that's going to be talking about how to be the boss of your life and feel connected with yourself and those around you. All right, well, let's meet our amazing guest. Allyson Roberts is the cognitive brain boss. She has an uncanny ability to quickly help people see the hidden story inside themselves that is holding them back, and then hands them the keys to their new life through a brain exercise that is marinated in love and compassion. Her work has been featured on NBC News, and Allyson caters to an eclectic roster of clients, from the dynamic part-time entrepreneur balancing business and family to professional athletes, right through to the strategic masterminds of Fortune 500 companies. She's here today to be the boss, help you see how you can be the boss of your brain and absolutely ignite humanity. Welcome, welcome, Allyson, to the show.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you so much for being here. And a lot of people are going to be very intrigued. Boss of your brain, what does that mean? Let's talk about that. A cognitive brain boss. What does that really mean?
Yeah, so most people find from time to time that they have intrusive thoughts that come in and are telling them that, they can't do it, it's too hard, they're not enough, all the things. And it can really cripple people and keep them stuck. And so, what I do is I teach people how to really just love themselves, because when we love ourselves, there's no place for shame and guilt. Not to say that it's dissolved forever, but where there's more love, there is less intrusive thoughts happening.
Mm. What a great way, what a great project, what a great mission to work on, because I think all of us, every single person on the planet has that inner chatter. Is there something that you've learned in your studies about why that chatter comes up, or how that chatter evolves, or what are the things around that chatter? Why do we all have that chatter?
Yeah, so our brain is very complex, but to make it very, very simple, when we were tribal, back before we had language, we actually used shame and guilt to keep people in the tribe. So if you were the berry collector and I was the fire keeper, I needed you to stay warm and you needed me to eat. And so if you wanted to wander off and go be in someone else's tribe, I would pick up rocks and throw it at you and ooga booga you and do all of these things to make you feel really, really awful about leaving, and then you would stay. And so that's part of the brain. It's our survival brain, and we still have it. I don't think that we'll ever, be free from it, which is why we have to learn how to manage it. And most people just try to poo-poo it away and shove it down. They try to distract themselves. People will get on social media and scroll for hours, or some people, if the intrusive thoughts are really, really bad, they self-medicate with addiction and things like that. So, my job is to help you understand that it's coming from a place of fear and that it's old, right? Because these intrusive thoughts that we have, they're coming from terrible things that happened to us in our childhood. And sometimes, this one professional athlete that I was working with, he was like, Allyson, my dad was great, my mom was great, I didn't have any trauma. And I'm like, respectfully, I love you. And everyone has trauma. So
Mm.
trauma doesn't, even if it doesn't come from mom and dad, it can come from just something so simple as the kids won't let you eat at their lunch table, or something so small as, you're the last one picked for the dodgeball team, or whatever the thing might be. Because when we're kids, it's all about us and everything is our fault. Everything is our fault. And so those thoughts, unless we learn how to become aware of them and speak to them in a loving way, they're just going to hang around.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't even realize the things that they're saying to themselves internally in their head, like, oh, you're so silly, or you're dumb, or why did you think that way, or you'll never make it. Like, we don't even realize that we're saying that because it's just, we're so used to hearing that negative chatter. So I agree with you, becoming aware of the things that we say and realizing, like, wow, like, I wouldn't say that to my best friend. I wouldn't say that to my spouse. I wouldn't say that to my child. Why am I saying it to myself? And becoming aware of the silly things that you say. And I just said the word silly because sometimes I'll say that to me. I'll be like, JB, that was so silly. But at
Right.
least it's a little bit nicer than JB, that was so stupid. I'll be like, that was so silly. And I'll try to like make me laugh about, that self-judgment that we have.
Yes.
How is it that self-judgment is hurting humanity? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Man, that is a loaded statement.
Mhm.
It's so true, though. I mean, if, it sounds so, John Lennon-ish and kumbaya, but just imagine the world if people, before they lashed out or before because our behavior is how we know that we're in shame and guilt, right? So just think of a world where before someone acted out or reacted, they just took 3 deep cleansing breaths in traffic, in the grocery line, to their spouse, to their child, just 3 deep cleansing breaths. We would live in a completely different world if that were the
Yeah.
case, because people would stop judging other people, because judgment of others is really just a projection of the judgment onto ourselves. If there's something that I don't like about you, it's not really about you at all. It's something that's inside of me that I don't like, that I'm seeing in you, right? So the self-judgment is, it's like it's almost like sugar in hot water. It just dissolves everything that's good. It really
It's
does.
I love that point, and let's expand upon that. If I am judging you, or if I see something in you I don't like, it really is a reflection of something in me that I don't like. And I don't feel like a lot of people really understand, if I am judging you, or I think you are this or that or whatever, it's really because I have some aspect of that inside of me, and I feel like we don't see in others things that we don't have in ourselves, just as much as we see in others the things we have in ourselves. Can you share a little bit about that? Because how do I take that awareness and help me grow, or help understand more about myself so that I'm not projecting that outward?
Yeah. So let's say that, you fibbed about something, right? And it was like, in your words, you had like a silly moment, right? And you fibbed about something. And I know that it was a fib. So let's just say that I blow it way out of proportion. And I'm like, oh, JB is just lying. She's a liar. She's a liar. And I'll start telling everybody, oh my gosh, there's some wound inside of me where someone lied to me, and I've never healed that wound.
Mm.
And so your little fib, and even if you admitted it and you're like, oh my gosh, I fibbed, I'm so sorry. If it's not healed within me, I don't care that you apologized.
Mm.
And that's huge, because when our wounds are not healed, and I really want people to hear this, when our wounds are not healed, other people's apologies mean nothing.
Mm.
And that's sad. It's sad, because that means that I don't have the capacity inside of me to have compassion and forgiveness for you. I immediately just see you as this lying enemy that's out to hurt me and you hurt people and all of these things, instead of being like, you know what? JV's human. She admitted her mistake. We're good and we move on, right? Because we all make mistakes and we're all human. But the wounds will lie to us and say, no, 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 no. She has bad intentions. She
Right.
wants to hurt you. And that's why that judgment is so important to notice about ourselves and to be like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? Like, why is one thing triggering me so deeply? Well, it's because it's old, and old wounds are like rust,
Mm.
and they're in there and they're just eroding. They're not, and the thing about it is that if someone betrays us and we don't heal that wound, then what happens is it's just like rust. Instead of it just impacting that one little piece of us, it starts to eat away and erode at all of the other good parts that are inside of us. And so then we become bitter and we become distrusting and we become judgmental.
And that, folks, really tears down humanity. I can see how your work is so vital, because if I'm hurting, if I have horrible self-talk, if I'm judging, then I'm going to hurt people hurt. I'm going to lash out. I'm going to be judgmental. I'm going to treat people as horribly as I treat myself. And so this work is so important. Talk about how I can become the boss of my brain. Share with me some tools, how I can connect to my inner self and be more kind.
Oh my gosh, this is my jam. I'm so passionate about this. I love when people ask me this question. So I said it a moment ago, and it's true. Like, our behavior is everything. So, if I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, today's the day I'm going to go to the gym. I really am. I really am. And then by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, oh, it's raining. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I'm just going to pour a big old glass of wine and sit down and watch Netflix. There's so much more going on in that behavior than just not going to the gym. So what I do in my work is, because usually when people come to me, they're so exhausted with their own patterns that they're like, I don't know why I keep doing this, and they really don't. They're like, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. So the way to connect with yourself is to feel into your body when you don't want to go to the gym. When you feel into your body and tap into that heaviness that's inside of you, that resistance, that rebellion that's inside of you, you have to ask yourself, when is the very first time that I ever felt this way? And I'll promise you, your brain will tell you. Your brain will be like, oh, it was when dad packed up and left when you were 10 years old. And then we know that that little version of yourself, that young version of yourself, is in desperate need of your love and attention. And once you start to say, oh, little JB, sweet little girl, come here. Sweet little girl, what do you need? What do you need from me? Do you need a hug? I love you. You're so smart, and any little girl in your situation would feel this way. Of course you feel betrayed. Of course you feel alone. Of course you're angry. Of course you're sad. And just really affirming and giving yourself so much grace and so much love and permission to finally feel the way that you needed to feel then. Because what a lot of parents do, and I'm a parent, and I've had to really learn this, but what a lot of parents do is they tell their children to stop crying, or they try to entertain their child to make them feel better because the parent doesn't feel safe watching their child suffer. And so instead of teaching a child how to regulate and become emotionally intelligent, we teach them instead how to shove down and not feel. So we have to go back in. The way that we become the boss of our brain is to understand that our emotions need to be felt. and they need to be expressed and they need to be healed.
It's so well said. So many of us, all of us sitting here listening today, can think of times in our lives when we were kids or something happened to us and it was negated or glossed over or not even noticed. And I'm also a parent, and I used to do a practice with my kids at the end of the day. What I would say, did anything hurt your heart today? And I would just listen, because they would give me the most unexpected answers. And my favorite one was, my daughter said, I spilled my popcorn at the movie and you didn't even care. You just wanted to hurry up and leave. And I was like, wow, like I didn't even realize that had hurt her. I didn't realize that that upset her. She was 7 years old. Of course, spilling her popcorn at the movies was embarrassing and upsetting for her. And I just, negated it. So asking the questions, has something happened today to hurt your heart? And they would tell me things about school and about on the playground and on the swings and what the teacher said. And we would work through it, and I would really listen to them and say, you had the right to feel that way. And mommy is sorry. And I didn't realize. And it was a really wonderful way to just hear your kids about things that we don't even know are going on for them. And sometimes I do it with my kids are older now. And sometimes I even do it with myself. I'll go to bed and I'll be like, did anything happen today to hurt your heart? And then I'll review the day, and then I'll just really try to cleanse and work through it and see it from a better perspective instead of a judgmental, have compassion for the other person. So thank you for sharing that, and letting us all realize that those emotions are natural for everyone. You are not unique in feeling, devalued or unimportant or somehow negated. We've all felt that way. What I love is you have a solution, because many of us get caught in the quagmire of our problems instead of looking for the solution. And today is about connections. Is there some way that we can build a better connection to our heart and our head and the brain and the thoughts and the emotions and the soul? Is there a deeper connection we can form and some tools we can do around that?
Yeah, so I love to journal
Mm.
and journal without thinking. Some people call it automatic writing. Um, you know, I believe in the spell of writing, if you will. I believe that that's why we call it spelling. There's just a magical thing.
Love that.
Yeah, there's just a magical thing that happens with our soul when we spell. And and not judging what you're writing, and not really giving much meaning to it, but just allowing it to come out onto the paper. And when people are really going through things with me, I will tell them, go to the store, buy a spiral notebook, come back home, and don't stop writing until it's half full. Like,
Mm.
just keep writing. Because there's a release that happens in us when words are on paper. And sometimes, not all the time, but if someone's like really, really going through something tragic or really super traumatic, I will sometimes have them just write the most beautiful love letter to themselves that they can possibly come up with. And I'm down to, like, you know, thank you for my cuticles on my hands, like just giving thanks for things that we just normally don't think about, and then have them read that back to themselves.
Mm.
There's just something really powerful about that. The second thing that I love, that is a great tool, is for people to just go off for the day by themselves. Just go and just be alone. If it's a long car ride, or if it's just pretending like you're not home, closing the curtains, turning off your phone, turning off the computer. Because electronics has this way of kind of sucking us dry. So we need that time to just fill ourselves back up again. And I use one of the techniques that you just talked about, JB, that I love, and that is a self evaluation of the day.
Mm.
And I love that so much. And I love, like, did anything hurt my heart today? That's so beautiful. What I like to tell people to do in their, like, end of the day is, like, what were my wins today? And then how do I feel like I lost? Like, what did I
Mm.
lose today? and then to just ask themselves, if it happens again tomorrow, what solution do I have for this? And this can be really great for people who are in a difficult marriage, or they're having a difficult time with someone in their family, or they're having a difficult time at work, to just really see, did you react or did you respond?
Really well said. I also do something similar. I will say to myself, is this a tragedy or is this a triumph? And when something happens that feels like a
Yes.
tragedy, like, oh, I got a flat tire, or I got a fight with my friend, or I didn't get picked for such and such, I'll literally ask myself, is this a tragedy or is this a triumph? And the triumph makes me start to realize, like, well, the good news is I got a flat tire, but then this gentleman came and he helped me, with my flat tire, and we ended up becoming friends. And then he told me about this great restaurant, and I went, so I always try to ask myself, what is the triumph? And if I don't know what it is, I say to the universe, I'm excited and interested to discover what the triumph is, to be determined, yet to come. And so I do also do the same, as think of what is the triumph inside of what we consider a tragedy, because everything happens for a reason and everything unfolds with our highest good in mind, even though sometimes it feels like a tragedy. So I really appreciate you saying that also. And I love this idea of connecting through writing. Obviously, as a publisher, I love writing, and this idea of a spell is so fabulous. And there's something special that happens: hand, arm, brain connection, writing on the paper. There's something really, really powerful about that. So I'm with you. I recommend that to people as much as possible. Is there a way that we can sort of take charge of that negative inner talk and reprogram it with positive talk? Is there some things that we can do in that vein?
Yes, and so the way to kill it is with kindness.
Yes.
you know, so you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, the thought comes in of, like, you're gonna fail this interview. You're gonna be, like, you're the dumbest person on the planet. Mom was right. You're never gonna amount to anything. Like, all that stuff that starts to come in, and you can just, what I do is I've named that part of myself. I've given her another name, and so I'll be like, "What's up, Rita?" Um, and what's going on, Rita? What's happening? And then she'll be like, I'm really scared. Like, you're just talking to yourself, which can feel a little crazy at first, but you're talking to yourself anyway. So,
Right. Right.
so it's
Good
either
point.
talking at yourself or talking with yourself, right? And so, you know, usually, when I'm like, "Hey, Rita, what's going on?" Then she'll say, "I'm really scared right now. What if we mess this up?" And then I'll say, "Well, look, what's the worst thing that can happen?" And then she's
Mm,
like, "We're going to lose everything, and then we're going to be poor, and then we're going to be homeless, and we're going to live out on the street, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that." And it's beautiful because it helps you see that you might have some stuff that you still need to work on, right?
right. And it
Yeah.
also shows you how you kind of are spiraling into. I remember having that exact thing, like, if I become really successful, what if someone tries to kidnap my kids? What if somebody, puts me for hostage? What if, like, and I'm thinking of, like, stuff we see in the movies, and I'm thinking, then I start to laugh, like, isn't that so silly? Like, it's actually kind of funny how your brain can get on a runaway train, and then you kind of look at it and you can laugh, and you'd be like, well, that's not going to happen. That's not the way it is. It's just our imagination. And bless you, imagination, for being so fabulous.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that sometimes I'll, say, "Rita, this would make a really great book," you
Yeah.
know.
Great
Um,
movie.
yeah, and then she's like, "Okay, let's write another one." And I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." So, you know,
It's that sugar dissolving that you talked about, right? It just kind
yeah.
of dissolves the pressure and the negative talk. You must have had an ignite moment. I love to talk about ignite moments. What was for you that really prompted all of this beautiful work that you do?
For me, honestly, it was through my daughter. Um, she's an adult now, but when I started this, she was a teenager, and just I wanted her so desperately to be happy Like I just wanted her to be happy so much. Because girls can be a little mean.
Yeah.
And, and so one day I just remember, you know, I was so wrapped up in like, I just want her to be happy. I just want her to be happy. And then this question popped in my head. Well, are you happy? And I was like, oh my goodness, no, I'm
Good
not.
point.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I wanted her to be happy so that I could feel safe inside. And then I just started thinking, I wonder how many other people are not happy. And I was kind of already doing a little bit of the work that I do now, which is kind of touching on it very part time. And I was talking to a friend about it, and she's like, we need you. Like, we
Mm.
need what you're doing. We need it on a full time basis. And I thought, yeah, and the beautiful thing about all of this is that my daughter is happy,
Yes, yeah.
and it's because she also embodied this work and becoming the boss of her brain and working with her little girl and reassuring her, her little self and doing all of those things like, and so my wish came true, but it just
I
came true
love
in
it. I love it. I love it. Well, we do need you. Absolutely. We do need you. We do need you doing this work. Folks, if you want to know more about what Allyson is up to, please visit her on our website. Be the boss of your brain. So powerful. Allyson, great, great, great sharing. I could talk to you about this forever. Let's have you on the show again, talking even more about next steps and ways that we can inspire, empower, and ignite humanity. Thank you so much for being here, my gorgeous. Well done. Love the conversation. Awesome. Well, if you want to be the boss of your brain, please check out what Allyson is up to and see how you can start working towards talking to yourself in a loving, caring way and just dissipate some of that negative self-talk. Well, we want to encourage you to be a part of our mission to ignite humanity. Please check out our website and see what we're up to. You can be a big part of influencing others in a positive way by joining our initiative to write a book, to build schools, to be in the Ignite Humanity compilation book, and just igniting lives in powerful, powerful ways. If you'd like to be on the show, please fill out our type form and tell us a little bit about what you're up to so we can showcase the work that you're doing to ignite humanity. And if you'd like to participate in our upcoming event, please join us in Las Vegas. We're going to be getting together for Ignite Gatherama. Speakers and teachers and trainers talking about ways to increase your business, your brand, your book, and have those beautiful breakthroughs. Well, we hope you have a fantastic weekend. It's Friday. Go out and give yourself some love. Connect with the people you care about. Connect with self. Have some time. Take some deep breaths. Get out in nature. Just really appreciate the wonderful, amazing, incredible human being that you are. All right, blessings. See you on Monday.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.